Okay. All right. So, yeah, the topic or the tool that us for this week is really just the word building structure. So this is gonna be like the structure every week. I'll just introduce one tool, and then the main learning activity is really just using the tool. So I'll just go through this, and if you have questions, I could answer it. Have you used this tool in the past, by the way, Ashish? The word breakdown structure?
Um, Conceptually, yes,
Mhm.
but then because I don't personally monitor projects anymore, I mean, the teams do it. So, yeah,
Mm,
but it'll be nice to refresh because it's been a while since I learned the concepts back in business school. Now I don't remember as many of them.
cool. Well, this is my most used project tool. I just have to update this chapter because I made this what you call this diagram. So essentially, well, the WBS for me is the heart of these project management tools because like uh, if the if the project or project management is bringing an idea to reality, the first question really is like, what is the work that would bring that idea to reality? The tool for that is the WBS, and then the WBS is also like the main um, input for some of the other tools, and then the other tools are really just there to build your WBS because the contents of these WBS is like it will go to your tasks and your team's tasks for you to do the work to bring that idea to reality. So that's really my that's why I like this tool so much. I use it for almost everything or any large project. So um, I was deliberating whether it would be better to do a or to present a simple to call a simple project like a birthday party or an actual WBS. So we'll just do both. Let's see what happens. So the WBS is really just a structured to-do list, and this it's you could either build it from the bottom, like you write down what needs to be done, and then you organize it, or you could just think of the categories and then start listing down what needs to be done in each category. The structure is up to you, and then the levels is also up to you, and it would be different levels for each branch. So for instance, this one is a birthday party. Honestly, I'm not an expert in birthday parties, but I imagine this is what what you would need to do to uh, to do a birthday party. And when we discussed this yesterday, Bruno had a bigger what you call this vision of a birthday party. So like when I was thinking of setting the table, Bruno was already thinking of like maybe you need to go into a course of table setting, and then it's like it's a much bigger party I was thinking of. So it's different for each. The WBS definitely will be bigger the bigger your project is. So this is like an actual WBS of a project I've been doing the past year. So it's much larger than a birthday party. So the WBS reflects that. Um, and um, yeah, that's how it looks like. And here in this rBook, so my suggestion is really to create the WBS because doing it really is more important than the actual output because it's like an in Rome we call it an algorithm of thought. So you go through that algorithm, and the output, one of the outputs is actually for you to realize like what don't I know about this project. It's like what are the gaps of my knowledge in the tasks that needs to be done to bring this idea to reality. And then so one so the next step is like how do I close that gap. And then the usual ways of doing this, or at least for me, is to like interview people who have done this kind of project, and then or study documents of project managers who have led similar projects in the past. This could be this you know, you look at your old work-based instructors. So this is one reason why I I use these tools, because I'm saving time for my future self. So if I've done a project once, you know, I just reuse my project documents for that kind of project in the future. I've
Um,
yes, Ashish.
so I have a question. The plugin that you've used is a Rome plugin
Oh yes,
for the
yes, yep.
mind map? Yeah, okay, that's fine. So my question is that I'll look it up. That's okay. Thank you. My question is that when I make the WBS, sometimes the elements are interlinked. So they may be sequential, they may be parallel, they may be inputs or outputs. And that's where I get lost, because then my mind map or whatever, the flow chart becomes so complex
Mhm.
that it starts like right now you have a very simple, clear presentation. But what happens in if some component of the first mind map is linked to something else in the third element and something else in the fifth element?
Mhm.
So how do you handle the feedback and non-linear connections?
Yes, yes. So this one, so the main what you call this value of these tools is that you're breaking down your work. So right now we're just focusing on scope management. So we just want to know what is the work that needs to be done to complete the project. So the dependencies, the scheduling. So we'll do that in another using other tools. So so we want to keep this simple. This is just a list of things we need to do.
Unmute. Okay. Sorry. Is it okay if I show you the flowchart of my project?
Go ahead. Yes,
Uh,
yes, sure,
ju-
sure.
it won't take too much of time, but that's what I was thinking of feeding it into the system.
Mhm.
Um, hmm, okay.
Okay. Need to make you a co-host.
Thank you. So screen share. Okay. Um, so this is what I did after a few iterations. It's not a WBS
Mhm.
yet, but it's just a workflow.
Mhm.
And the idea is to create interest-based communities.
Mm.
So building a database, then having them sign up to a newsletter, then coming up with a call to action mechanism, and then taking them to a community, and then launching different community platforms. And then a performance measurement KPI survey and new launches. So this is something that I would like to put through this concept, and
Mhm.
I will break it down into WBS and other things like that. So just wanted to kind of share it with you what I'm thinking about.
Cool. Yeah, it's it just simply, and this will help you list down the things you need to do to make this happen. For instance, what do you need to do to create a newsletter? What do you need to do to
Right,
create a master database? In fact, this could
right,
be your top level branches. Since you're really thinking
sure,
about it this way, might as well make use of that model.
right.
So yeah, this could be your guide to make
And
your
the reason
WPS.
why I put the top level first is because I wanted clarity on where I'm headed
Mhm.
and if the key steps are already there. So as you advised, I put this on Twitter. I discussed with some people and they helped me fine tune a bit, because
Cool.
earlier my, sign up to call to action had 7 steps and they said that's too
Mm.
long. So
Okay.
I'm more or less okay with this. So okay, I'll then develop the next level of granularity. Thank you.
Cool.
Back to you.
Another, since you already have some people you're talking with, Ashish, you know, that might be, they might be okay to have a call with you, because this is the easiest way actually to create WBS and do it with someone who's done it before. You know, it's like sit down, like, hey, by the way, so how did you how you know, what did you need to do to make this project a reality? And then one of my favorite questions is actually, what surprised you? What did you need to do that surprised you that you didn't expect? Because if it surprised them, it will probably surprise you as well. I mean, something you need to do but did not really plan for. So Yeah, it's like it's also. I mean, I find it much easier to do this as a team rather than by myself. Um, yeah. So
And you recommend that I do everything in Rome, right? Right from my mind map to the next steps. So I
well,
can do all of it in Rome.
if it's a for the mind map, definitely, or for the WBS. I mean, Rome. I don't think there's a better tool right now than Rome. I could explain that further as we go along. Um, there's like other mind maps. It's just self-contained. Like it's couldn't you couldn't link to other things.
Right.
But yeah, but for instance, like for
Okay.
instance, if like I have notes about the table setting course, or like let's just make this a page, and then I
Yeah.
get everything there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
and
Great.
then yeah, and also like for instance, when I made this mind map, for instance, or this WBS, I had my notes, I had my articles on one side, which I tagged with different aspects of the project. And, it's just like, so in my sidebar, I would have
Yeah.
my resources and I'm making my WBS based on those resources. So,
Perfect.
I don't think there's no other tool for you to do that.
Good.
So next is like to build the WBS using the knowledge of other people, and then um, what I do normally is like those steps which are required to do that is like a more meta part of this project. I just add them in a project management branch. So interview this person, create a schedule. So they're all in my WBS as well. And then yeah, I already mentioned this. You could do it top down or bottoms up. It could be many levels deep, and then different depths for each branch. It's really up to you. And then the next activity is to put some tags on your work packages. So the what we the ends of the branches, the tips of the branches, we call those work packages. And then the what I like to do is I just for initial planning, is I tag them with cost, time, risk, and hiring, because these are the things that I want to find out as soon as possible. Which things will take me the most time, my own time. Which things will cost some money. Which are the riskiest. Which will, if something happens to this particular thing, or it will what you call this, it will kill the project, or something like bad is likely to happen to this thing. So probability and impact. So that's what I'm looking at. And for this example, the cooking for me is the riskiest thing. You know, the party would hinge on that. The groceries would cost things, and the cooking also will cost me time. Invitations, I'll probably hire it out to someone else. I'm not a designer. So that's what I want. That's my normal process in initiating a project. I first create a WBS and get a feel of what this project is. Um, because like this is really a matter of also programming our attention. So we don't want to equally divide our attention to the entire project. We want to focus on the riskiest parts, the parts that needs more work. So that's that's essentially the WPS. And from this, we will be creating we'll be using this information for the other tools in the next weeks.
Okay. So I have a question here. In your list, some of the bullets are not tagged. So does that mean that they don't have any implication of cost, time, risk, and hiring? So let's say creating the menu. To me, that should have a time tag. Um, but if there is none, then so how would you decide which items not to tag?
Now, this is just prioritization.
Okay.
Maybe I should call this maybe a better tag would be the like top top risk or something like that, or has most cost. Because like this, I'm just trying to what you call this, program my attention, trying to like which ones should I um,
Okay.
yeah. So maybe the top
So these are
three
just
would
for
host
you.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Got it.
Maybe I should. That's a good one. Just clarify this somewhere. Um, that is, yeah, that's a good point. I'll explain it here. Any other questions, Ashish?
No, I'm okay for now.
Cool, cool. So just once you do this and you have questions, just reach out. I mean, the real learning here is really when you actually do the WBS. So yeah, just looking forward to that. What you call this? Your output, if you want to show that.
Yeah. Because I'm also starting this. So we are working on one of the digital strategy for one of the spiritual institutes to have a 2-year digital roadmap which we will implement. So we are a group of volunteers who've offered our time and whatever expertise we can contribute. So that's a very complex initiative. So I'm also, because that will need some kind of a program management skill. The only drawback about Rome is I cannot share because all of them need to be on Rome, and that to me is frustrating. And so, in fact, this whole morning I was searching on AppSumo for other tools that can help in collaboration.
Yeah,
Rome is so good, but again, ah, it
it's a
just needs
specialized
people.
specialized language. You have to
Yeah,
speak the
it's
language for it to make sense.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that was my situation with this project. I mean, this Rome, I just use it internally because no one else in my team used Rome.
yeah,
So we'll what I used here was essentially for instance the risk register. I use like Google Sheets,
yeah,
and then a lot of communication through email and Slack. But my central what you call this project management tool was really Rome. So
yeah,
the other tools, um, like for instance Asana or
yeah,
Trello, these are really, to me, these are teamwork tools. Meaning you're working on something, you're assigning tasks, you're talking about certain kinds of aspects of the project, and then it's a collaboration tool. So,
correct,
but
correct.
yeah, so for
But
me,
then it's
like
duplication of work. And so, for example, for me, I have to import everything into Rome, and kind of, 50-70% of it is just duplication of effort. But it's worth it because I can think in Rome. I can't
yeah,
think it in Asana, Trello, or something else. I use Miro boards for collaboration,
okay,
because that kind of gives a good client facing impression.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah,
yeah, yeah. I don't really see it as a redundancy, or I don't see it as a duplicate effort, because yeah, we'll be tackling this in communications management. A very small part of the project is actually seen externally, because like most of these things are distractions to my project team. So I only want them to know what they need to do for that week.
yeah, yeah,
So I don't want them to be distracted about all the other things that's happening, because they're already so you're competing for their time and their attention. So it's like this is your thing this week, or like, okay,
yeah,
so now let's think about, or let's create a work breakdown structure. It could be like you sit down, you create you it could be a Zoom call, and then you just show your room when during that meeting. You say, hey, what do you need to add here? And then people give inputs, you take the note down the notes. um, but they don't need to, because like they don't even need to know the tool, how to use it, the WBS, because it means that you have to train them for that. So you're sort of yeah, you're just selecting what people need to know for the most impact.
For my case, one is that because all of them are volunteering, so I feel that if I share the big picture, then that can help bring greater sense of ownership. Also, we are still kind of figuring out how and who will contribute to what. So we want to give the room for others to say, okay, this is the way you're thinking, but there's another way to do it.
Mhm.
And finally, the people who are leading it have no clues. They have no, well, they don't have project management skills. They're just subject matter experts.
Yeah,
So I thought training them may bring in greater accountability. I don't want this to be like my initiative because it's their initiative and I'm not getting paid for it. So I don't want to take that additional risk. It's not worth my while. Because if the project collapses because they don't get resources, I don't want them to say because this guy told us this way.
yeah,
So yeah, so that's a bit of a
yeah.
sensitive.
The tool next week actually should be perfect for that, which is the project charter, because that's where you play that game. You ensure that
Okay.
like you make them sign. So you, and then in the project charter as well, you put there um, all the caveats now, because like this is our agreement. So actually, you could either start with the project charter or the WBS. For things which are not yet clear, the charter is a better place to start actually. But it's good for you as a project manager, because this one really makes you imagine what does it take to bring this project to reality. It will change actually. It might change once you create the charter, because with the charter you collaborate with the other stakeholders of the project. So the sponsors, it's like what are we really trying to do? It's like what is the
Right.
why are we trying to do this? What is the purpose? And what specifically that does that mean? How does it look like in terms of outputs, in terms of schedules, and then you also put there the risks, and then what do you need from them? This is important, but what do you need from them for this to be successful? So you're also protecting not only yourself but your project team,
Right.
because in the corporate world, is called the CYA.
Yep. Very
Yeah,
important. Most
yeah. So
important.
yeah, so it's yeah. I'm still thinking about how to structure that next chapter, because this is a different game when it's like a small team where there's a lot of trust, and then the other extreme is like you're working across different organizations, and everything has to be in a contract, like zero trust. There it has to be the law has to be the one to ensure that there's cooperation. So and then the project charter could be created in very different ways based on the environment of
Yeah.
trust.
Yeah. But it's also most important, right? Because if you don't fix that, then it will resurface later to, bite you at the back. So
Yeah,
I
definitely,
think it's a
definitely.
very important aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, and their names have to be there.
Yep.
And it has to be
Yep.
public. That's the important thing. So everyone
Yeah.
shares in has skin in the game. Everyone, you have
Yeah.
to make sure everyone has skin in the game. Everyone has to be embarrassed if it fails.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah,
Okay. That's good.
yeah, we'll tackle that next week.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool, cool. Any other thing, questions, Ashish, or comments?
No, I'm good for now. So between now and next week, I will try and develop a next level of granularity, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, yeah. And if you have any comments on this particular chapter, I'd really
Sure.
appreciate feedback. Um, and you
Of
could also
course.
put like what you call this reactions. If
My suggestion is that the mind map, it's okay to have a smaller version so it becomes a little legible.
Mhm.
So I mean, because it's only illustrative, so that's okay. Because I like that we have a simple WBS case context, a birthday party, but then the mind map looks a little bit cluttered. So if you want to simplify that just to illustrate the concept, that's fine.
Cool, cool. Let me note it down here. What is this one is a bit too overwhelming. Is that the
It looks crowded. And then because it's my first time looking at it, I really want to know, oh, what is what.
mm,
So
mm,
that can be done through, like for me, I will do it through my own exercise, and I will come up with some kind of mind map, which I may have questions or I may be happy about. That's fine.
mm, mm,
Just to illustrate, like the birthday party very nicely illustrates, okay, you need these five things. And so for me, the most important learning is the tagging system:
mm,
cost, time, risk, hiring. That's one thing I would never have thought about. I tag it differently. And I really like the simplicity. I like that it's not priority one, priority two, urgent, super urgent, but the simplicity: cost, time, risk, hiring. So that's my some a new fact for me, and
cool,
that's
cool,
made it worth my while.
cool,
And to see it in a simple birthday party WBS makes it so easy for me to understand, because then I can apply it for complex situations.
cool, cool.
So
Great, great.
mind map, yeah, you just introduce the concept and then let people worry about it.
Cool,
We can
cool.
always ask question, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So I'm looking forward for you to apply it, and then you ask questions when you actually, get your hands dirty.
Sure.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Ashish. And then
lovely. Thank you. Have a
talk to you next
pleasant
week.
day.
All right.
And yeah, thank you for doing this,
All
Khalid.
right.
Bye
Thanks
bye.
as well. Bye.